What's going on, guys? Welcome to number 2 of the Corona Cast by the XXL Podcast. That rolled off nicely. So this time, we're doing a little bit different. We've invited friends on. I say friends, people we know, people we don't really know. And we're just going to kind of have conversations, see what they're all about. To be honest, just have chats and see where it goes. I think it's going to be really interesting. Today we've got Olivia Kenneally, who is my fiance's cousin. She's a wild character, and I think everyone's going to love her. So let's let her in. Like, she's been waiting at the door for ages.
Hello.
Here she is. Get that audio on.
Hello.
She is.
Hey, how you doing? All right?
What's good?
I'm good. I love your hat and glasses.
Yeah.
Which one?
But I can only see Josh.
You go, swipe across.
If you swipe across to the bottom.
Oh my god, and I can see you now when you talk. It goes like, hey, Queen.
What's good?
I like your jumper. Bringing some colour in.
£7 from eBay.
£7?
Yeah.
I love that.
Don't talk to Josh about eBay. He doesn't like them.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't really get on with it.
My mum's banned.
What, banned from eBay?
Yeah.
As in, like, you kind of said no, or eBay said no?
eBay said no.
Oh, mad.
Why?
She was selling a bag on there, however, it was real, but because it was old, it was worn. So they basically said it was counterfeit when it wasn't, but they removed.
Mad.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's never good to be banned from somewhere like eBay. Never good. So, Liv, obviously we've met a couple of times, stuff like that. We've been on nights out.
Yes.
Same with Drew, obviously. He's always there.
We'll have a good night out. Woo!
Yeah, always. I know bits about you, like bits that like Lou will talk about and stuff like that. The only thing that I really know is that you've obviously kind of come on a bit of a journey, like finding yourself more. Purely the fact that I overhear a conversation, and stuff like that. So, talk to me and Drew like about kind of what your current situation is. That's like a recruiter thing, isn't it? What's your current situation?
Love that.
Yeah.
Well done, Josh.
Yeah, talk to us about like kind of what you're doing at the moment. Obviously, everyone's in isolation, so like kind of what you've been through to get to where you are now.
Okay, cool. Should we talking about anything? Like we go full on in? Or?
Yeah, you can go however much like you want to share and stuff like that.
Okay, so I have recently, well, do you know what? Spirituality and all of this good schism has, I never discovered it until I was like 18. Okay. I'm 20 now. And I feel like I'm not at a certain destination. I'm obviously only 20 years old. So I'm like, okay, I'm in this, I'm in life. We're all in life. And now we're all being isolated. It's kind of a bit of a crazy situation to be in now, and definitely my kind of healing journey has definitely been given a bit of a, well, now you got to deal with this because you're in isolation, so here, have that. But I basically found meditation and yoga and journaling through a group that I do, and it's kind of like a therapy group, and it's very, very, it's more I never really was into spirituality at all, but then when I kind of linked the two, I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy. And I don't know, I've just changed my perspective on life a lot in order to live a healthier, happier, more joyous, beautiful, fulfilled life. Yeah,
do you find that like, so I came, so when was it? Jesus. I was probably like 21. When I I got into work with a guy called Peter Sage, who used to, I don't know if you've ever heard of Anthony Robbins. I'm telling you, my Google's listening.
Is he a motivational speaker?
Yes, yeah. Tony Robbins, yeah, he's like a world-renowned motivational speaker and stuff like that. So I used to do some work with those kind of like events and things like that. And when I was very much like hardied in terms of like when people said spirituality, I was like, yeah, shut up. Like I was just really cold shouldered to it, didn't really think much of it. And I went on some of their things, and then they basically were kind of drilling into you more about like, one, you're never in control, like whatever happens, obviously with the current situation, you can clearly see that. And also it was all about going with the flow of the river. So like, it's going to take a turn for the worst, but you kind of, you know, it's always heading downstream. So you just keep going, you just let it kind of turn, go with it. And then as it comes back, you'll be back on the journey you need to go on. So that's kind of where it really kind of started to change for me. And then also understanding that the things that you chase, i.e. like money or fame or, you know, whatever people want, if you chase it to a point where you're never really going to actually have what you want, because I always think about like a dog track. So they chase a rabbit, and the rabbit is designed that basically it's sped up as soon as they get near to catch it. So like kind of that is what life is, that essentially like you'll get eventually small little goals, but they're always continuously moving. And when I thought about like the spirituality side, I think it gets a real bad rap. Because if people say, oh, you know, I'm very spiritual, everyone's like, oh, what, you're religious? And I think that's like where you're like, no, it's like it's being in tune with yourself, being in tune with others, and kind of there's a thing called quantum alignment. So it's like your heart and mind aligned. And normally people would say it's more about when people go like instinct. So you kind of have a feeling, you know what feels right because your heart's like, yeah, that feels good. And then your brain can justify actually that feels right. So like, have you found that you've kind of gone with the flow, or have you had like any resistance naturally to be like, no, actually like this is a bit stupid, or have you kind of gone in and been super open-minded with it?
Well, when I first was introduced to it, I came across this guru called Sanguru on YouTube, and I was going through a bit of a just difficult time, and I was like, I need some help. Like, what should I do? So I listened to these videos, and I was like, it basically changed my whole life at that point in my life. And I feel like from that, I was like, I took good, but I also got bad habits in the sense where I tried to look at everything in a positive way, and any negative thought I wouldn't acknowledge. And that's where I went wrong. And I was trying to kind of numb negativity, where really you need to face it head on. And that was at the beginning. But it's funny what you said about you'll never be happy and you'll keep chasing. That is such like a huge thing for me. And I don't know, it's just, it makes me think about things like, so you could we're creatures of habit. So whatever we're surrounded by, we're going to eventually get used to. And it's like, anything can be around you, but you just need to be content as you're like, just as a person, no matter what's around you, and then you'll appreciate everything around you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I think that's the big thing is, you know, knowing what you have is, I don't know if you guys have seen it, there's a really good video, I think it's like an animation, that came out ages ago, and it was like, I think it was backtracking, but I can't remember how it was laid out, but essentially it was like, oh, I look at someone with a really nice car and I want that, but then someone looks at me that I've got a car and they're like, I want that. And then the person who's got the bike, they're like, I can't ride a bike, so I really want that. And I think having like, you're always going to want things.
And it goes all the way back to someone without legs.
Yeah, it does. And they're sitting there and they're like, I just want to be freedom, like, essentially. But like, I think like, I really like.
He can walk. I'll never have that. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. And just having that acceptance of, look, you are who you are, your situation is what it is. Materialistic things like, as there's a billion quotes at the moment that are coming out, that like right now, none of that matters. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you can't do anything. You know, having a Ferrari on the drive is great to look at, but if you can't use it, there's no point to it. And stuff like that. So actually just being, like you said, content with yourself, accept who you are and be like, yeah, that's cool. And if I always think what was drilled into me was that kind of stress relief is like, if something's bad happening, you're like, it's fine, just accept it, it's cool. Whatever, it'll happen, let it go, and then like the pendulum kind of swings the other way. So yeah, that's cool. And would you say with you said about journaling and stuff like that. Like that's something that I just physically can't do. Like I'm terrible. I don't read. The only things that I probably would read is more like internet-based knowledge.
Muscle fitness.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you might say that. I've never read a book from start to like back at all in my life. Yeah, other than when I'm maybe doing research, stuff like that. But I think like journaling's a kind of a whole different ballgame because it's emotional. It's you as a person. Like, what would you say? Like, how's that affected you when you're doing that?
So for journaling, I don't do it every day because I forget, but I will do it like 3 days a week roughly. And what I just find, because I'm really artsy and I know like bullshit, but when I journal, I will write how I'm feeling down, right? I'll write it down and then I'll stop and then I'll read it back and I'll think, did I just write that? And it's right, like, you don't even realise. And that's kind of why I do it. It's not so much the journaling. It's more like, wow, I just wrote this down. I'm reading it back. And I don't really know how to explain it. But it just makes you, when you are writing down how you're feeling, sometimes you don't even realise how you're feeling until you put it out and read it and put it into kind of a third person perspective and read it as if it was somebody else's. And then if there's a problem, try and look for it, try and solve it, you know?
Address it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never really thought of it like that. Because I guess, like, you just kind of, you're writing down what you're thinking, like, not really what, it's almost like plugging you into something and you're just downloading everything. And then when you're looking back, you're like, Jesus, okay, there's a lot going on here. Like, I need to address some things. Or do you use it at all, like, for, obviously, me and Drew were talking just before you come on about like your YouTube and stuff like that you're obviously like really keen to like pushing that and becoming like a personality, and you're doing really well at it. Do you find
Which is smashing, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love it.
Do you think that this like journaling is quite good? Do you set goals with that, or do you kind of write down like this is the current thought process, but also today I want to complete, or is there anything like that in there?
So with journaling, that's purely just based on my feelings, my thoughts. It can literally be anything, something that pissed me off, anything like that, or something that I was so grateful for. But then with what I do is I write a list every single morning, even if it's just 3 things that I have to get done. Yeah. And I feel like as long as I have a list of stuff I need to do, I'll get it done. If I don't write the list down, I won't do it. Yeah. And it's literally just the power of having it pen to paper in front of you instead of in your mind with 1,000 other things. It's like there, and I feel like that is what works for me. But they're 2 separate things. Yeah,
well, I know you watched Joe Rogan because we talked about that before. But when he says like on some of it, I'll try and dig him out somewhere. But where he's like on his motivational videos, he's like, get something, write it down. If you don't write it down, you'll never do it. Like, and that would be like what you just said.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. With just thinking about like kind of what you've been saying, so have you had, obviously you've gone from being, well, this is assumptions, you've gone from being someone who's not been doing this, spirituality and stuff like that, and then you've suddenly gone 2 years down the whole rabbit hole, and now you're kind of like living and breathing it. I can imagine like people who, I've had it, but people who have had like going through this kind of thing, you get a lot of people saying, like, shut up, like this is all airy-fairy, or like, oh, your little spiritual thing, like stuff like that. Have you had like much resistance against it from people, or have you had to, it sounds bad, like if there's negative people, I don't know if you watch Gary Vee or anything like that, but like there's negative people, just cut them out, like forget about it, they're out. You're not going to really associate with them much unless it's very small. Have you had like negative stuff or like against the grain?
On my YouTube, I don't really get many negative comments yet, but it's because I'm not big yet. Like I haven't got a big, massive following yet. You know,
that's the key word right there.
Yeah.
Yet, exactly. But I'm the kind of person, if I see a negative comment, absolute delete, block, bye. That's it. I don't entertain it because then I feel like I'm quite a fiery person, so I'm quite reactive, which I'm trying to respond, not react, but that's still a process. But I'm trying to, but it doesn't really faze me. I feel like they're on the internet. If they have the time to write something shitty about me, then like
They need
Clearly
to reassess. Yeah.
They're not doing anything that makes themselves happy right now. They're just trying to put someone else down. So I'm going to leave you to it and I'm going to just carry on doing me. Like, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's
There's always going to be negative people out there, isn't there? Someone's always going to have something negative to say. It's just how you deal with that, really. And I think dealing with it the way you do is probably the best.
Yeah, and I think
worst way of dealing with it.
As you said, you know, it's kind of like the beginning of this, and you know, you don't know the consistency that you're probably rolling in things out a year from now can be a totally different thing. And you know, even if you've got 1,000 people watching, that's like, it doesn't sound a lot, but 1,000 people, you put them in a room and they're all looking at you, suddenly your heart drops a little bit and you think, Jesus, okay, these people are paying attention. And as things grow to like 10,000, you know, and onwards, you're going to get people that just do it for the sake of it. And I think, like you said, if you entertain that and then you start getting bothered, you become obsessed with it. And a lot of people say that, you know, going through like negative stuff and you kind of get rolled up by it, but actually the positive stuff you end up ignoring. You kind of don't really, you need to almost have that like balanced, you go back to everyone. So yeah, have you had anyone, like obviously with YouTube, but have you had anyone kind of more close to home that's more, you know, friends, family, that's been a bit like, what are you like? Are you all right?
Do you know what? I feel like I've never actually had someone close to me say it to my face, like apart from my ex-boyfriend who hated it and wanted it off the internet. But apart from that, everyone in my life doesn't. The only people that I really speak to be honest, I don't really have many friends. I have a very small circle. I keep it close. I don't have loads of people to talk about me. And if they're doing it, then I'm not going to be with them because I don't spend my time with them. Like, genuinely, I have maybe 3 really close friends that, you know, and I feel like that's the best way to be, in my opinion. But if I did have someone close to me kind of saying that to me, I'd just be like, okay, so what is it about what I'm doing for myself that's bothering you so much inside of you? Like, that's what I would ask them.
100%. Yeah, it's like the whole psychology side to it. It's like, why are you getting angry about what I'm doing? Like, how is it affecting you? What is it that's, you know, you're addressing? Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. Drew?
Josh?
Okay, I thought you might kind of roll on to like another little segment or something.
I actually had a question, Liv.
Go ahead.
So obviously you're on YouTube. You also do TikTok as well, which I love. All grand. It's all good fun.
Thank you.
I wanted to know, obviously we've spoken about a lot of spiritual side of things. Do you feel like that side of you comes across in your videos, or is it a completely different Liv that we see in your videos to what you are at home?
Question.
That is a really good question, actually. So I think, you might think I'm exaggerating. I do, in a sense, maybe think I have a slight, mild multiple personality disorder, where, because I can be literally a different person every single day, and I feel like that really translates through my videos. I do speak about a lot of spirituality, and I give like boy talk advice, and a lot of that comes out in that. But I also talk about fashion and stuff where it can be literally just gobbledygook girl stuff. But then I try and...
Which I love.
Thank you, darling. But now I'm trying to, like, I want to implement...
That's what I'm here for. love the girl talk.
Yeah.
Do you? You sitting there watching the whole thing?
Yeah. All the makeup tutorials, I'm like, yes, please.
Sitting at home trying it yourself.
I have no idea about makeup. Just contours of makeup term in it.
Yeah.
We'll go with
Take that one.
Nah, fair enough. Love that.
Yeah.
Would you say, like, obviously kind of going on what Drew's saying, that's kind of a really good point, that, you know, we do see Liv whatever, but it's kind of, you might be, when you're doing more tutorial, you're more kind of like, or maybe it's the other way, but like you're more expressive, or you kind of have like a hyper personality, and then when you're talking about something else, you kind of are more calm, or like you said, it's kind of somewhat multiple personalities, but it's not. It's kind of, you have that just energy for one thing that's crazy, and then you kind of know if I'm talking about something else, and like you're talking about spirituality or something like that, or something that may have happened, then you're kind of a calmer person because you're thinking, well, actually, I need to think about what I'm trying to say and stuff like that. But actually, that how people might respond to this, like if you were going really crazy about it, people are like, right, calm the fuck down, like, you know, who are you? Type thing. Yeah, that's cool. So with this, I said to Drew, when obviously you coming on, like, you know, what were we going to talk about? And I was like, look, I know Liv's gone down a massive rabbit hole. Firstly with Alex Jones, but two with conspiracy theories. So I want to know, like, what kind of conspiracy theories have you listened about, known about, or what kind of? I don't personally. I think they're really cool, and I like listening to them. But there's a lot of bullshit, and I just can't tangible to it. But I know that, like, there's loads of people out there that are like, no, seriously, these things are like the real deal. But like, what have you heard, or what are the ones that you know about?
Okay, where do I start? So I just want to firstly say, with conspiracies, there's a lot to it. But personally, I am more into the politics, all the politicians doing stuff, naughty stuff that we shouldn't know about. That's the stuff that really just I love. Pizzagate. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay, so Pizzagate is a bit of a heavy topic. So basically what it is, it's a group of old men that they shipped young children out to this island, and they basically just molested them and all this shit, and then it got exposed, and there is print evidence, there is actual paperwork of all of this stuff that happened. And this happened. None of the men went to jail, but there's general evidence, and it just makes me think they have the power to cover up anything that they do. And it's like, okay, there's a line where you stop and think, okay, is this just absolute rubbish? But then there's a line where you think, hang on, are we just naive? And is there a lot more going on than we think? Yeah.
So like with this thing, how long ago is it, do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know.
A fair few years, do you reckon?
It came out recent. I don't actually know. I don't know.
So we're not talking like 100 years ago. We're talking kind of like within like 50 years type thing. Yeah.
Mad.
But yeah, like I said, there's got to be paperwork in terms of like I personally don't know. I'm making things up right now, so I'm probably as bad as everyone else. But like if you're shipping people out, there's like documents of like cargo ships in and out, or you know, when when a plane takes off, literal pictures and stuff like that. And whereabouts in the world was that?
Oh, I've said the wrong example because I don't know that much about it, but it was like an island. I'm not sure, but I know it was with the American government. So,
Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Crazy.
Next. What other ones? Have you seen the latest stuff with the? Well, I don't know. So there was on Joe Rogan. There was a guy who basically was a guy. I don't know if you've heard of him, Bob Lazar.
No.
Okay, there's a guy called Bob Lazar. He's got a Netflix documentary. It's good, really, really good. And then there was another guy, but he was a military personnel. He was basically flying one of the fighter jets out over the Navy. And then there's been, I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook, it keeps cropping up on mine. Basically, like the new UFO footage that's come out. Don't know if you've seen it. And basically, it's like they're tracking it from a plane or a fighter jet. And anyway, Joe Rogan has this guy on. They pull up the footage and they're going through it and stuff like that. And this guy's saying, this is exactly what I saw. There was two other jets. They saw exactly the same thing as me. We've got the footage. And I think the US Navy's just literally put it out in the domain to kind of show everyone. So that was interesting. And then the Bob Lazar guy, basically, he was, so you know Area 51? Yeah, so obviously it's meant to be like a whole alien thing, or like unidentified aircraft stuff that they're making, or what, I don't even know. Apparently there's a place called S4, I think it's called, which is like not far from there. And this guy, Bob Lazar, he was basically brought in as a physics person or something, and said, look, you're working on this thing. We can't tell you anything. You don't know where you're going. We're just going to drop you off, etc. He went there, and then basically it was this, I want to say aircraft, that he said, like, they went into, and it was all about anti-gravity, and they were trying to reverse engineer how this thing was moving, but they couldn't understand. Essentially, gravity didn't matter. It could go from one point to another instantly, which is pretty cool. That's another one that I know about.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So what other ones do you kind of like? Obviously,
you love getting extraterrestrial conversations into these podcasts, Josh, don't you?
Have I got many in?
Huh?
Have I got many in?
In previous podcasts, I reckon you have, yeah.
All right. I'm not one of these people that goes on about, I promise. So yeah, so what other ones? It's hard because when someone's on the spot, you forget.
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
It's okay.
Sorry, what did you say?
I was saying it's hard, like when someone's what do you know? And then you're like, right now I don't know anything because I can't remember. When someone puts you on the spot, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think. So obviously, like the moon landing is a huge one. But with aliens, I watched this. It was like a 2-hour YouTube video of aliens being explained. And there was this guy who used to work in NASA, and it was basically they were making a project. I don't know names or specifics or anything like this, but there's a video on it and there's like paperwork proof. And it's this guy who used to work for NASA. And basically what he did was he left the job because the government were being so untruthful about keeping aliens, and apparently they're like this force that has this energy that the elites use to basically have faster everything. I'm explaining it really badly, but they basically use the aliens' energy or whatever they can provide that is useful to us, and they use it to their advantage. Basically, that's what I watched, and it was this guy who was in NASA was explaining, like he used to work for them, but he literally quit because he was like, I can't actually commit to keeping this from so many people when there's so much poverty. I can't do this.
That's good.
Yeah.
Bad.
I'm trying to think of ones that I know about.
Crazy what's out there, eh?
I'm going to be real controversial, and I am someone who will call absolute bullshit on this. But I can't believe the amount of people that have jumped on this 5G.
Oh dear.
I know it probably stirs people up, but Jesus.
Right, give me your opinion on 5G.
Okay, so what I've known about it, and I say research, I haven't researched it at all, it's just come up in podcasts I've watched. Firstly, it's got nothing to do with coronavirus, it's two totally different things. And secondly, the 5G isn't as strong as 4G, the bandwidth. Like, don't get me wrong, I get that you're putting, if you stand next to a microwave, it's terrible for you. If you're putting waves into the air anyway, it's going to cause some kind of something. I think they said when 4G came out, it was affecting bees, like as they work as magnetic energy. It was like putting some difference in, like they couldn't. Essentially, bees were getting lost. I'm pretty sure that's what the situation was. But yeah, from what I understand, I haven't gone that far down, but from what I understand is 5G is a less of a megahertz or whatever frequency is putting out than what 4G is. But everyone thinks that 5G is more powerful because it's faster. And then there was a video that came out that I saw that 5G, the birds were falling out of the sky or out of the tree.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I can't turn around I can't turn around and say that is it or it isn't. I don't know why birds are falling out of a tree. It could well be. But I saw that. I can't think what else I saw. I've just seen a lot on it, and I think I've seen obviously on Joe Rogan a lot, and he's just like, yeah, it's bullshit. Like, that something's bad about it, yes, but I don't I don't really believe it can cause coronavirus for a start. And I don't really know much else, really. That's pretty much all I think.
There's loads of conspiracy theories on coronavirus, though, ain't there? Gosh.
So many.
Oh, God. How it's all that. It's man-made. Oh, dearie me.
I truly believe that it was man-made in a lab in China and got out. Like, maybe not on purpose, but I do feel like it was man-made. That's my opinion.
Did you, just a weird one, because that's almost like, yeah, I agree with you. There was a thing called, I want to say the Echo Times. There was a video on Facebook, and it was like the first documentary on coronavirus. Did you see it?
No.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
No.
If you watch it, it's basically like all this paperwork and stuff like that that's saying about, we know about this virus and stuff like this. And then the Chinese lab, which is like, I think it's called like level 4 or something like that, which is essentially like when they deal with top level virus stuff, or like bioweapons and stuff like that. And they were like sending company emails around basically saying, look, this has happened, like something's gone wrong, and it's it's potentially out in the open. Please do not say anything, whatever's within here, like it's basically kind of limited to here. No one goes out, it's confidential. And then it kept going and going, and then they were basically saying that it was weird. They broke down basically the molecular like build of it, and they were saying about like each little strand that's coming off of it. It was like a protein, and there was 2 proteins which you got 100% of. I think it was like protein E or K, something like that. Anyway, they were saying that something which is nature, like natural, never has 100% of something. It never has it. It's like something that's synthetic will have 100% because it's been built that way.
Right.
That blew me. I was like, Jesus Christ. But then it was like going on the same thing of it's potentially been leaked. And it was just, I just think like, look, the Chinese government shouldn't hide something, for one. If it's gone wrong, hold your hands up. Like, ego, I think, is kind of it. But it's a dictatorship as well, so.
I do agree, but then I also do think if you have a little think about it, China can copy almost anything, right? So China can copy anything. They are the lead. They own pretty much not everything, but they own a lot of stuff, and they have a lot of power in that way. So everything that we make here and everything that America makes, like a lot of it is manufactured in China, and they have a lot of power. So I feel like in terms of whether they would lie about a potential virus being leaked, maybe to threaten another country. Sorry, my dog's just walked in. I feel like that is a high possibility. I feel like they'd be like, look, hey, we can leak this and cause a whole global lockdown, so you better do what we say. I feel like that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think in terms of the economy, massively.
Yeah,
like,
hugely.
I think when it was all about antibiotics or something like that basically most of the world's antibiotics are made in China. So like the fact that there's a lockdown and people genuinely they need these antibiotics to try and make a gene or whatever, they're like, yeah, we've got hold of that. Like we have that. Like, and no one thought about, oh, maybe we should probably do our own, just in case like this whole thing gets out of control. Yeah, I think I think you're right. Like the economy, like we've had to shut down. Obviously, they shut down America, everything like that. But everything is made pretty much in China, so it's kind of like everything's on hold, and they call the shots when we want it. Like we'll release it, and you pay money for it essentially.
Exactly, I do. Although my mind is kind of torn. I think the virus is the virus. We now have to deal with it. It's an extremely serious situation, and there are people dying.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, it's like, okay, so that's that. But then what? So was something like, how did this come about? Is another factor. But then another factor is, what can China now show to the whole world? What they can do and what power they have over other people, because they have the ability to duplicate most things, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I think you know what? I could go on loads about this because it's quite an interesting topic about people's opinions on how they think it's dealt with. Like personally, I'm torn, which I've been a bit annoying, so I'd rather choose one side than the other. I don't want to be a fence sitter, but watching Sweden, where they have got not lockdown, but they've got things that have turned around and said, look, you know, we've restricted this, we restrict that, but basically what we had before lockdown. And then they've said, like, look, just let the virus run. It's just got to run through. We've got to get herd immunity, which is like 60% of the population, to then be able to just move free and not worry about it. So I watched another podcast about a Swedish, not pandemic, epidemiologist. And he is on like the board of Sweden. And he said that the reason they've done it is purely to let it run, because they need they want to do a different approach. And if you go into a lockdown, the harder you lock down, it takes way longer to be able to release, because you effectively can't, because you're just prolonging everything going along.
Yes.
That's the problem, is like this lockdown now, you know, we can get the R0 or wherever it is below 1, but then as soon as we release anything, it's going to just jump back up. And it's like we're basically just bouncing until everyone in the world, unless we get a vaccine. And he just said, yeah, you know, look, everyone pretty much is maybe going to end up with the same sort of deaths, depending on like the population and ages and whatever. But if you lock down, you're going to be staying in lockdown, because you can't release it until you're way further down the line. And I like that approach. It sounds bad, because look, people are going to die. And he said that the people who are dying were probably going to die in maybe 6 months' time. It was just that this was going to speed up the process, which sounds absolutely horrible, and I'm sure I'm going to get loads of hate for. But like that approach to me of just let it run. You're going to have it. It's a mild disease, a mild illness. Sorry. You know, unfortunately, protect the vulnerable, protect the people who, you know, are old as well. Do what they can, but just, you know, let everyone. I personally think I really like about the economy. I don't want that to crash or anything like that. I do not want to be in a situation where money and affordability of like people's lives are just, you know, it's going to cause a lot of death as well because of suicide and everything like that. But yeah, I don't know, lockdown, non-lockdown, I think we dealt with it okay. I think we could have done it a lot faster, like Australia, like instant. But I think if we weren't, and we were kind of as late as we were, we should have just kind of let it run. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I just think because it's so new to everyone, it's like there isn't really a right or wrong way to go. This is new for everyone. So yeah. It's like, and with lockdown, and what I feel like a lot of people don't understand, in my opinion, is that with lockdown, it's not going to cure coronavirus. It's literally just lowering the amount of deaths at a time, you know? So just, yeah, I don't really know. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. I just think you just need to follow what the government says, fortunately or unfortunately, whatever your opinions are on that. You just got to do what you're told and hope for the best and pray and love. Which the British love doing.
Yeah.
Love doing what we're told.
We love it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah, I think people's understanding of this has gone a bit skewed, and the fact of like lockdown is to save the NHS being overloaded, not to stop the coronavirus. I think that's what a lot of people think is like, oh yeah, keep like stay at home, save lives, brilliant. Yeah, that's fine because this will go away. It's not going to go away. Like this is 2 years. Like potentially, if we're in this state, this could be like super long because we have lockdown and stuff like that. We've just got to slowly let things run its course, unless we get a vaccine.
Yes.
Yeah. But even then, well, I say even then, they said obviously, you know, it's not been proven that you can't get it twice. So if you can get it twice.
Really? It's been proven?
Well, they basically said, well, they're unsure in terms of like, if you've had it and then you can get it again. There was a thing in China saying that someone got it twice, but I don't know how true that is. It was kind of like hearsay. But yeah, so like the World Health Organization have turned around and said, look, there's not anything saying that you won't get it again, which is kind of okay, but then that makes a vaccine pointless.
Exactly.
Unless they've got some kind of different molecular structure or something. But yeah, what an odd time to be alive. Terrible.
But all fun. Well, not fun, but...
Yeah, it's not. I'm bored out of my brains.
What are you guys doing to like stay sane? What are your tactics?
This. Chatting to people.
Yeah.
You know
We
what?
spoke about this. We've done our top tips
Did
for
you?
surviving lockdown.
Yeah, I think
our
to be
last
honest,
one.
like our main one, wasn't it, Drew? Like, to be honest, just chat to people, but not even just chat on the phone. Like, actually do this where I can see you, I can see your emotion, I can see, like, if you're responding to, I can see you thinking and like what you're trying to put across. Where if I text you, I think like unless you're super expressive with language, you can get emotion, but even then, like, you can't see what that person's doing. And I think like chatting to someone like this, suddenly like I'll come off of this and I think, yeah, I was wicked, like chatting to everyone, and I could see what everyone was doing and how people were coping or like whatever we talk about. Where like I've got like,
the massive one wasn't it? Adding on to that was, although we've got to isolate ourselves, doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself from everyone else.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the worst thing you can do if you we've got to stay at home. I'm lucky. Obviously, Josh, you live with Lou. Liv, you've got your family. I'm lucky. I live with both my brothers and my dad. So like, it's brought us closer together as a family. But I also enjoy, you know, doing these FaceTimes. You know, it's keeping me sane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be done, because otherwise you literally could just like go insane, like genuinely insane. So you've got to stay occupied, and I feel like it's so easy to disconnect yourself without even realizing, and just not make the effort. So I feel like definitely like just making that actual effort to have contact with people.
Yeah. No, I think 100%. Just backing up what you said, like you're so right in the sense of, like I was talking to Debbie the other day, and we were saying that like if you're just like, you know that you're at home, you know that you've basically got like X amount of weeks of doing nothing, and you could sit here, like you wake up, you have your breakfast, you do whatever, and then you kind of sit down, you're like, right, I don't know, say you were going to go and do something, and you almost like can't be bothered, I haven't got the energy, and then get to the end of you haven't done anything. Like I've watched Netflix for a day once, when it was Tiger King, brilliant, and then went out and then came back in, and Lou was like, what have you done all day? I was like, generally nothing, like, I'm not going to lie to you, and then she was like, do you want to go for a walk? And this was in the evening, and my general thing was, I need to sit down, I'm shattered. And I was like, what? Like, I haven't done anything, which makes me even worse and even more tired. So I think like 100%, like, get up, go and do something. Like, you've got to be.
You haven't stimulated your body or your brain or your mind.
It
just makes you
big time.
And before we move on to this
news
stuff, we do a segment on our podcast. Well, we done it last time,
so we made it up.
You know, we made it up. It's a proper original concept called Two Lives and a Truth. It's not original at all.
No, yeah, okay.
But basically, because we thought a good topic with you being on the podcast would have been conspiracy theories, I done a little bit of research and I found these three conspiracy theories are, I mean, it's such a broad subject. You've got from what we've been talking about to match fixing in sports. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So I've got these three statements. Two of them are a lie. One of them's a truth. And you two have got to guess which one's which. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Well, put it this way. The last one that we did, I genuinely
struggled with?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, one of them was, I've got the quickest 100-meter sprint at my school. I mean, that should have been pushed to the side real quick. I think you may have just been trying to be a little bit kind, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I think that was probably it, yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So the first conspiracy theory is there has been over 1,000 reported UFO sightings in 2020 alone. Okay, that's the first one. The second one, in the 2018-2019 football season, there was over 5,000 confirmed cases of match fixing across all major leagues. And the third one, there has been over 300 reported boats and planes that have been lost in the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay. I'm going to put number 2. I haven't got an absolute Scooby about. I'm not even in football, so.
You know what
Maybe
match
I'll leave that
fixing is,
one to you.
though?
Huh?
You know what match fixing is, though, right?
Yeah.
It's when players, like, throw a game on purpose because they've got money on it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right. Let's get. So, number 1.
Yep.
Thing is, I want to ask questions. I don't even know if I can because you're going to make it up.
Do what you got to do. You can ask
Okay.
questions.
Number 1, 1,000. Okay, and whereabouts are these in the world?
So this is worldwide.
Worldwide. Okay. Okay. A lot of people are staying at home. They're probably losing their minds a bit. They probably have seen a couple of things in the sky that they're sort of made up in their minds. Keep them entertained. Okay. Number 2,
When I say confirmed sightings, obviously I mean that they've reported it
not actual.
to their.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna say whether or not they have.
I think
not
I know.
seen them.
Okay. Right. Go on. Liv. Run me through your theory.
Oh, what theory? Because I think I just have the answer for all 3. Like, so 2 lies and a truth, yeah?
Yeah.
I think the first 2 are lies and the last one's a truth.
Okay.
Okay. I
Josh?
want to say why, but I think I agree with you purely for the fact of the numbers. I think there's generally like 300, whatever is in the Bermuda Triangle. That doesn't surprise me.
The only thing I thought was, I feel like there would be more, and with the cases of spotting UFOs, I thought there would be less. So
Yeah. 1,000 seems quite a lot.
it's quite a few, but then there's a
They're
lot
doing
of people in the world.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Let's go with it.
You sticking to your guns?
Yeah.
All right. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, well done. You got it right.
Yay!
You know how long it took me to think of them? Like, the first 2 are absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought, UFO sightings, that's, you know, and match fixing, yeah, they're conspiracy theories. And then the last one took me ages to find. Well done.
Brilliant. Love that.
Well done. Great questions.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right. We've been on here a long time, I think. So, we won't make
Bad
it,
thing.
we won't make it too much on that. So last time, I found this basically news article, which was voted the worst news headlines ever
Yeah.
in a newspaper. To give you an idea of the kind of how low we go on this show, like it's a proper thing. Where was it? Oh, this. I'm hoping this doesn't go over your head, but basically, this was one of the news lines. Was Diana was still alive hours before she died.
Was she?
What?
I mean, what a headline.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. She died in a car crash.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's what I was laughing, Drew. I don't know where you were. Yeah, so like, if you think about it, yeah. So the headline is Diana was still alive hours.
Maybe don't think about it. Just listen to it. Don't think about it. That's the problem.
Oh, okay, yeah. Don't think about it.
Can you say it again?
Yeah, Diana was still alive hours before she died.
Oh, okay. Obviously bullshit.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Second
I'm not
time
gonna lie.
asking, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When you were questioning it, I was questioning myself then, thinking, did they mean that Diana was still alive for hours? As in, like, she'd been in a car crash, she was still alive for a couple of hours, and then she died.
That's probably what they meant. They just the
Yeah.
way they worded it was so wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like the second line, like
It's like the teen pregnancy ones. That was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing.
yeah. Oh, what was that one?
Studies show that teen pregnancy goes down after the age of 25.
Yeah.
Well,
Not there.
Yeah, exactly that. Okay, so I'm going to rifle through some. You can tell me whether they're good or not. Number 17. Wait, hang on.
Not going to do the same ones, are you?
No. Number 16. This was. This isn't really like a weird headline. Well, it is definitely weird, but I think it's more play on words. Basically, it's Tiger Woods plays with his own balls. Nike says.
Wait, are these actual headlines that have come out?
Yeah. The next one's even better. Like it gets kind of more dim in terms of headlines. Man arrested for everything. It's good, isn't it? Good pun. Some of these are really basic. Like the next one's real, real basic. Bridge helps people get across rivers. Okay.
What?
Way.
Say that again?
Bridges help people get across rivers.
Oh, Maz. Good to know.
Absolutely crazy. Okay. This is this is more like it. Okay. Girls' school still offering something special. Dash head.
These are just ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I thought the Chinese one was quite funny.
What was that Chinese? Can't even say it.
Reports show that Chinese hide their submarines in the sea.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, underwater.
Yeah, that was good.
And the Australian one was funny as well.
Oh, okay. So there was one in a food magazine. I'm assuming it's food magazine. Which is meant to say grapefruit. Wait a minute. Let me just show you what this says. Share screen. Can you read that?
Oh dear. Yeah, that's not great.
Food for every meal. What the fuck?
A bit close to the mark, isn't it?
That's not ideal.
It looks like a school paper as well. It looks like, I don't know.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Like an American school paper or something.
Yeah.
Okay, here's some of these. I'm assuming not to be horrible to Americans, but they have to be in American newspapers.
100%.
Yeah. One. Well, I'm not going to say anything, but two. This one. Rooms with broken air conditioners are hot. Fair enough.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's good to know that.
Wait. Yeah.
Okay, this one's more of a visual, but the headline is, and I'll share my screen, Boy Scouts to accept gay boys.
Oh, that's cute. I like
That's
that.
Cute.
Aww.
It's more the second.
Oh my god.
It's more the second line with the picture, which is more what kind of makes that funny. In through the back door.
Oh my
dear.
god. That is just bad.
That's something else. That is.
Yeah, these people who write this, firstly, they've got, I'm not sure about that. It's more, they must have a play on words, knowing that this is going to be further down, like in through the back door. Has got to be like something that they're like, this is going to be hilarious if this gets through, and then they let it through.
Literally.
It has to be.
It's like Britain's Got Talent, isn't it? You know, they've got thousands of untelevised auditions. They see all the bad people and they think, we'll put them through just for the viewers' entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
Other talent shows are available.
Yeah, definitely. State population to double by, this is American, state population to double by 2040, and then it says babies are to blame. Apparently they're
Yeah, gosh.
Republicans turned off by the size of Obama's package.
I just want to know who's publishing these, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I want to know. Like who's doing it. Like
That's all the New York Times right there.
Yeah.
Other United States papers are available.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is bad. Barbershop singer. Do you know what a barbershop singer is? Yeah, both of you.
No.
The barbershop singers, they're like. Do you watch Mary
People
Poppins?
sing in barbershops.
Have you watched Mary Poppins?
Yeah, like 6 years ago.
Yeah, like in that era, they had like those flat hats, like this, but a flat one.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
They had like the stripes, and they'd all sing together, and they'd be like, and they'd be all like harmonised.
Yeah.
Okay, they're barbershop singers.
It's normally more commonly known as a barbershop quartet.
Right.
If you know that phrase.
Fair enough. Okay, and it says barbershop singers bring joy to the school for the deaf.
Oh.
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Barbershop singers bring joy to school of barbershop singers bring joy to the school of deaf.
What the frick?
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy. They can hear. They're not really deaf. They probably are. So let's not go on about that.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, bringing the tone down. Woman missing since she got lost. Fair enough.
Oh my God.
Nice damage. Okay, right. I'm going to finish on a good one. That's not very good.
That's a crap one.
Okay. Jesus. Okay, this is the headline. This has got to be The Sun. It's so long that I'm probably going to butcher it. Woman in sumo wrestler suit assaulted her ex-girlfriend in a gay pub after she waved at a man dressed as a Snickers bar.
Wait, what? That's just so random.
Yeah. One, it's really random, but also my imagination can imagine what that is.
My head just played out that whole scenario.
Yeah. Like a woman in a wrestler suit.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that happen in real life.
That's like pink
Actually, I
on the
think I may have
weekend.
been there for this.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What a headline.
Yeah, I was going to finish on that one, but this one's probably a bit better. This is by the the Metro Herald. Yellow object spotted in the sky. There you go. Finish on a strong one.
Oh God!
Could
I
be the
don't
sun.
get that.
Yellow object
Sun.
spotted in the sky. Could be a UFO. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, probably is.
Yeah, could well be.
Yeah. Conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how long we've been on. What's the time?
A while.
A while. Okay,
So,
cool. Right, to wrap it up, Liv, where can they find your?
plug away, Liv.
Yeah, do your plugs on your
Just
YouTube and stuff.
plugging myself. You can get me on Instagram and YouTube at Olivia Kennealy. Hit me up for all that good content and love.
Love that.
I've never done this before. That was my first ever self.
Yeah, I love that. That's spot on.
Love that.
Spot on.
And what about TikTok? Is it the same?
Yeah, it's all Olivia Kennealy, the same.
Okay, cool.
Olivia
Spell out
Kennealy.
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 There you go. Just in case. I'm sure we'll put the links in anyway in the bio bit so people can click through. If anyone's even watched this far.
Go follow people. It's banned.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. Right, we'll let you go.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for having me, and I had so much
See you
fun
later.
doing this.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on. It's been joyous.
Stay safe.
Hour
Right,
and a bit.
peace and love. Stay
See you
safe.
later.
See you later.
Adios.
Bye.
Take it easy, guys.
There we go.
Nice.
That was
good,
fun. Enjoyed that.
I like the energy. I like her. It's good. Really good. Right.
Right.
Sign off
Finish
this
it there.
video.
Guys,
Yes.
like
Peace
and
and love.
subscribe. Bye.
You know where you're going.